again and welcome. The idea, insight, or sales secret you need for massive impact is just moments away. It's time to get more clients. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Get More Clients. I'm your host, Lynn Whitbeck. Business owners and entrepreneurs hire me to ignite winning sales because most are chasing down leads, lack client loyalty, conversion, and profit. The mission of this show is to share Fortune 500 sales secrets to help you open the vault to your greater business success. All right, I'm going to start with a story about something that's happened to me, and I'm wondering, has it ever happened to you? So a marketer is holding an iPad. She approaches you, and as you are placing, she's literally approaching you as you're placing a product in your grocery cart. And she asked, according to our brand strategy, you buy our brand to compensate for being a time-pressed working parent who misses the idealized family meals of your own childhood. Isn't that right? And you look at the box that you just put in your cart, and you look back at the woman, and you say, it's a box of oatmeal. How did you read all of that in here? And you're literally thinking, what the what? It's a box of oatmeal. Is this marketer crazy? Where do they come up with this stuff? And this is a lot of fun because it certainly happened when we're out there at the stores, or certainly when you're at Costco and you're trying all these different things, right? Although I've never heard anybody say something that not so, but it's a great example of jumping to conclusions about your ideal client, your market. And, to be honest, in that scenario, you're literally jumping the shark, right? Spending time asking questions to understand your client's perspective is crucial to effectively market your product or service. And asking a question the way that this example is, it was terrible. You don't want to do that. So you want to really dive into your client thinking, because that plays a key role in how you define and segment your market. So now last week, I shared why deciphering emotions and motivations gets stronger sales. And today I'm going to be discussing what are your surefire sales market opportunities to flourish. So when we dive into this, we're going to be talking about the process of grouping or segmenting potential clients based on different characteristics that are important to you and your business. And this enables you to create sales messages which resonate. By the end of today's show, you are going to know how to define your market, identify the characteristics that are important to you and your business, and segment your market with descriptors, experiences, and decision influencers. Defining and segmenting your market is crucial for your sales success, and it's a great tool to niche down so that you can really focus on a very specific group and create your messaging and languaging around their perspective. And yet it allows you, as time goes on, to expand and scale. All right, let's talk about what market segmentation is with a more formal explanation. It is the process of dividing a market of potential clients into groups or segments based on different characteristics important to you. And there are 5 primary types of market segmentation: demographic, behavioral, geographic, psychographic, and firmographic. Firmographic is very specific to B2B markets. And if you sell your product or service B2B, it's going to be one of the things that you need. If you don't, you can skip that one. Woohoo. All right, now let's talk about demographics segmentation, because this is the simplest and it's the one that most people are familiar. And of course, therefore, by extension, it is the most widely used type of market segmentation. Demographics look at the background variables that are easily measured: gender, age, social class, geography. And companies use it, and you can use it to create broad groupings of the population based on things such as age, sex, location, religion, family size, yada, yada. So here's an example of some of the demographic information that could be included. Age, I've already mentioned that, gender, relationship status, income, education, work situation, geography. So those are all things that can go into a demographic marker. Now, let's talk about geographic segmentation. Now, it can also be separate from demographic segmentation because it really goes into a lot more detail about the geographics. And as the name implies, this type of market segmentation groups people based on their physical location. You may want to go with this route because the needs of your clients differ from region to region. It could also be that you've got boots on the ground, so it makes sense to really understand that segment in that community. And that is a really great way, depending on what type of sales you're in. If you're in real estate sales, of course, you're going to be very interested in your geographic segmentation and the area that you're working in. Because even in a large metropolitan area, there are multiple little mini geographic segments, and you may want to focus on a very specific group. Now, let's move on to number 3, which is behavioral segmentation. Now, this taps into the way people make decisions over time or in response to stimuli. So this type of segmentation is based on their actions and behaviors in the marketplace. So there's a great example here. The way a company or a business is going to market during the holiday season, and the deals that are available, and they're different from the rest of the year. So think Black Friday, right? I mean, Black Friday now is like Black Friday week, Black Friday month pretty soon, right? But they're very specialized things that are available in some cases for one day and one day only. So behavioral variables include benefits that are sought, the user status, and the usage rate. So it's got a really strong B2C, business to consumer or direct to consumer sort of vibe, but it can be applied to all types of businesses. So the next one is psychographic segmentation. And this looks at personality factors. And this type of segmentation is based on the lifestyle, interest, and activities of individuals that make up a client segment. Now, I am really very much excited about psychographic segmentation. And I'm a big advocate of that for my clients, because this is really about getting into their values and their beliefs and their potentials and really connecting with that client why. What are those motivators? What are the emotions that are involved? Just like we talked about last week, the things that matter to them. And these are the things that can really create a quick way to attract and connect with your ideal clients. So psychographic segmentation is widely considered as the most effective type of market segmentation because it serves as a gateway to clients' thoughts, which is why I'm such a big fan, right? You got it. Thinking like your client. We talk about it all the time. Really understanding the client why. The more you make the right business decisions, when you not only know who your clients are, but also have a really solid understanding of how they think. In psychographic segmentation, you would encounter questions like, what motivates my clients? What principles do my users have? What are their inherent beliefs? What drives users to make conscious and or unconscious decisions? So these are things that really are so important. And I dive a lot deeper into this as we work through your ideal client thinking and their persona. Now, let's talk about some of these elements. Personality in psychographic segmentation. Personality traits play a big role when it comes to the choices of your target market. This is because consumers, buyers, potential clients, prospects are less likely to purchase items that do not align with their personalities and vice versa. So, common personality types in psychographic segmentation include creative, emotional, friendly, opinionated, introverted, and extroverted. Another aspect of the psychographic segmentation is lifestyle. Clients also consider how your product fits into their lifestyle choices before making a purchasing decision. Now, there's a lot of ways that we can think about, well, what does that really mean? So certainly for luxury brands, that lifestyle and making a purchase based on their lifestyle choices, that they want to appear and feel successful, is certainly going to drive them to purchase those luxury brands, like driving a car that's a BMW or a Lexus or a Cadillac, whatever it happens to be from their perception, right? And so that lifestyle is a very specific choice that they make when purchasing a product. Now, or a service, because it works both ways. It's not just to purchase a car, right? There are lifestyle choices that align with other aspects of your personality that in these psychographics that would apply to any type of business, whatever your product or service is. Now, another aspect is social status. And while linked to lifestyle, it's different. This is a very important variable in psychographic segmentation, as every social class has its product preferences. And this means that what people eat, wear, or even choose to associate with largely affects the social class they belong to, whether directly or indirectly. And while I'm not a big fan of this whole idea of social classes, certainly here and being an American, it's still there. And it can impact you in a bunch of different ways. And the hack is to understand that while your product can be great, it may not necessarily appeal to all social classes. Now, another piece of psychographic segmentation is the activities, interests, and opinions. And this has an abbreviation of AIO. And so if you see that, that could be what it means. So when you're reading something in a marketing article. Now, the hobbies, interests, and opinions of your target audience can help you understand their preferences and what appeals to them. And this information comes in handy when it's time to map out your buyer persona for your product or service. When you understand these things, it also can help you pick out images and messages, stories, anecdotes, metaphors that are really going to attract your ideal client in the sense of what activities, interests, and opinions they have. And I'm going to be talking about this in future episodes, and I've talked about it before because it's really important. Now, I had said that there were 5 market segmentations, and I'm going to cover the last one now, firmographic segmentation. Now, this is the process of analyzing and classifying B2B, business to business audiences and clients based on similar characteristics that matter to your business. So sometimes you are targeting businesses that have a headcount of at least 100, or a headcount of, it could be something else, that they have at least this much dollar volume. So let's sort of talk about what are those factors and examples. So one could be the specific industry. So you are specifically working in telecommunications. That's your niche market, right? It could be, as I mentioned, their annual revenue, because they have to be generating this much revenue to be able to either really be in that market for your product or service. It could be the company size. And the company size can be a number of things. It can be your head count. It can be the number of locations. It could be what kind of geographic region that they cover. So there's a number of things that could go into the company size. Now, also the sales stage, are they in a place in their business where purchasing your product or service would make sense? So that's where like the headcount could come in. Maybe you have an HR product or service. And if they've got a headcount of 5, it's not going to make sense for them to purchase this. Instead, but if they have a headcount of 100, and they're really trying to get to a point where everybody plays nice in the sandbox, your product or service could be a great fit. So that's sort of like that sales stage. Do they have an appetite for your product or service? Where are they at in their journey where your product or service is going to fit? Now, performance is another one. And this could be, are you working with companies that are, maybe you're a CPA and you really specialize in working with companies that are struggling to stay in business. They're on the cliff of going bankrupt. That could be something where you come in and you really do things in a very accelerated manner in 30, 65 or 60, 90 days so that you can improve their performance. So there's a number of ways that this could be applied. You could also be looking for an executive title. So you could be looking for organizations that are smaller businesses, but they're partnerships. And maybe that's something that you work with them specifically on how to go through the process of when there's conflict with those processes with the partners and how you can create solutions for that. So there's a number of different ways. And of course, location. Do they have a number of locations? Are they in a specific geographic area? These are all ways of firmographic grouping, and they were going to look different from one organization to the next because it's about what your product or service is and what's important to you for your ideal client. And this will not always apply if you're not selling B2B. A number of these things aren't going to matter. Okay. But it's always a good idea to explore and consider because it could be something that you've got blinders on and you're missing that could really help you niche down and create that marketing and sales outreach content that's going to truly attract and connect. Now, market segment should be done before you ever have a client, ideally. I mean, it really should be part of your business plan. And it's an educated endeavor about who you want to serve and what kind of messages they're going to respond to. And this is about your client thinking. Yeah. I mean, this is all part of that bigger exercise. And it's a great way for you to also figure out how to niche down. And this comes to mind. Yesterday, I was on a call and someone had a custom Zoom background, right? And she sort of had a header right under her name, which was at the top of the screen, but it had 3 very distinct things. And it was sort of like, okay, well, what do you do? Do you do this, this, or this? She was trying to sell to everyone rather than what was her core genius? What was that authentic special sauce that she brought to the marketplace? Right? Because if you don't lean into that, it doesn't help people self-identify that you're somebody that they want to listen to, that they want to connect with, that they want to purchase from, because you're making it too difficult. And there's a really famous quote that if you're trying to appeal to everyone, you speak to no one. And I'm paraphrasing there, but that's the idea. It's really about getting really in tune with who you are and what you do so that now you can really identify your ideal client and the persona around that. So when we're working on market segmentation, I'm going to help you go through this and we're going to really frame it around the client why as it relates to market segmentation and a 3-step exercise. So let's walk through this exercise. So step 1 is to define your market by identifying the different types of clients you have for a specific product or service. What's your offer? What do you do? What is that unique thing that you bring to the marketplace? And then you're going to start to define that market. Now, B2B factors can include the industry, organization, structure, stakeholder roles, and all the other things. B2C factors include identity descriptors, lifestyle, experience in work and life, decision partners, and influencers and belief systems. So you're going to walk through those exercises, your B2B, B2C. All right. And once again, remember that's business to business, or B2C is business to consumer. Now, step 2 is to choose the specific client segment that matches your passion of who you want to serve, and map their why. And I've talked about this so many times. What do they want, need, or lack? Why does it matter to them? So they can what, right? And I want to be really clear. Each different segment of clients will potentially have a different why, or certainly their motivations and emotions around it could be different. So I'm going to give you an example. A single working mom may have a very different why to pursue career coaching than a woman who's just beginning her career. They're in different life stages, right? And what's appealing to them and why it matters for this career coaching, you're going to be speaking to a different audience, right? So in the B2B world, the IT manager is going to look at your product or service from a very different lens than the CFO. I mean, they're looking for different things of why your product or service matters. And when you're in a B2B space, especially if you're selling a larger program or product or service offering, you're going to be selling to often more than one person. There is a core decision maker, there's a champion, and there are stakeholders and influencers. And really understanding the dynamics is critical for you to be able to close the sale and to get that client involved in your product or service and creating the solution that they desire. Now, here's the key with step 2. You're going to repeat it for the different types of clients you have for your specific product or service. So these are the things that you identified in step 1. What are the different types of clients? What are the different segments or markets that I have, or industries that I'm working with? And then how am I going to be able to work with them? Step 3 is to focus on one of the niche segments that you identify in step 2, that why. You know, the client why that really speaks to you, that you can have really a massive impact on helping them, serving them, making a great difference. And this is important whether you have one product or dozens, all right? Because when you know and understand their why, their emotions, and their motivations, you can tailor your messages, your outreach, your lead magnets to highlight how your product or service benefits them, why it matters to them, what's in it for them, so they can achieve the goal, the initiative, that dream that they're looking for. And this all takes us back to the advantages of psychographic segmentation. It helps you create client-centric products and communicate sales messages that resonate with the subconscious needs of your audience. And this is what's really cool about psychographic data. Because it deals with personality traits that are formed over time, it's relatively stable. Unlike, I should say, other types of market research data. Think about demographics. People move, you know, they finish college or they go back to get their master's degree after they've been working for 10 years, right? Demographics change all the time. But some of these core beliefs and values, they really they're almost grafted into that DNA of your ideal client or prospect. And this means that you can create lasting sales and marketing strategies using these psychographic variables. Wow, what a session. Isn't this wonderful? Your go-to-market strategy is centered around your ideal client and what matters to them. That's what this is all about. And defining and segmenting your market enables you to niche down and to achieve better results in less time. Because when you're speaking to a specific audience, you're going to be able to make that attraction and connection, build rapport, and close more sales. Well, I would love to hear what was your biggest takeaway from this episode. Oh, please. It's important to support the things you love. And if you loved this episode, a 5-star review really helps keep the show coming to you regularly. Also, if you want to get more sales strategies to grow your business, make sure you subscribe right now. Today, I explored what are your surefire sales market opportunities to flourish. And the key is for you to implement these steps to stop wasting time, energy, and resources. If you want to get results even faster, I invite you to download my sales strategy checklist at petitequeaton.com/checklist. And I'll have that link down below so that you can click on it. Woohoo! Now, next week on Get More Clients, I'll be discussing why your ideal client avatar is your ultimate key to success. And this has been Lynn Whitbeck, the host of Get More Clients. And I will see you next time.